Good evening, gentlemen and ladies. How is everybody? It's Tuesday night. It's 9 o'clock. It's the 27th of June. And if you're watching this on replay, then hello. Thanks for tuning in. And hopefully you'll stay with it till the end. Okay? Thank you. Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing? So, anyway, I was talking about these bloody. Where do these flies come from? I only noticed them when I started this stream. Are they hiding out in my laptop or something? Anyway, Richard O, nice to hear from you. Donald Trump, nice to hear from you. Sean Jones, sceneries. Gemini Star, Paul Hoskin, Tandra, nice to hear from you, Tandra. McLaren is here. Hello. Super nice. Leo Malley is back in Pattaya. Okay, no, that's good, isn't it? Leo Malley has done a great trip around Indonesia and I think quite a few other places. So good for him anyway. And Pattaya is a good place if you're going to round things off anywhere. That's a good place to do it. David Marchant, Evening Squire Eddie and all other squires. Okay, nice to hear from you, David. Nice to hear from you. Gemini Star, lines are open tonight. If anyone wants to give me a phone call, I'll put the number on the screen anyway. We'll say hello to a few people first of all. It's Tuesday night, so I mean, what the hell else is happening? I mean, it's we're nearly halfway through the year, so maybe we should discuss either tonight or on Friday. Whether the first half of this year has been any good, and whether you think the second half is going to be good or a catastrophe. Yours Travels, nice to hear from you. Barry from EastEnders, I'm projecting a fruity shirt with black and gold design today. Not the usual black t-shirt with a dragon on it. Guess what? There's a dragon. There's a dragon on there. Female one. Super nice, okay. Bobby Webber. Bobby Webber is catching the live stream from Lago Maggiore. I've been there. That's in northern Italy, not far from Switzerland. And I've been there, and it is beautiful. It's lovely. It's you got this, you got this little island in the middle of the lake, and it's Italy, and it was very, very good value when I was there, but that was about 30 odd years ago. Hope you're having a lovely time there, mate. Sean Harris, nice to hear from you, Sean. Nice to hear from you, Sean. If you want to come on later and say hello, I can send you a link on Facebook by all means. You were very, very popular last time you came on. Sean Young, greetings, Eddie. Have a great show as always. Okay, thank you. Let's see, okay. Super nice to hear from you. Moto Kenny, nice to hear from you. Toby Price, Vietnam now planning a 90-day online visa. If I go to Malaysia, 90 days on arrival. Thailand needs to sort this out or people will go elsewhere. Yeah, you can get as a British person, you can get a 90 days visa in Malaysia. But would you really want to stay in Malaysia for 90 days? It's not like, well, maybe you will. Maybe some people like Malaysia. I stayed there and I liked it, but it wasn't exciting enough, really. Vietnam, now you're talking. You can easily stay 90 days in Vietnam and not get bored. Yeah, Thailand should follow suit, really. Let's see, Bobby Webber on a bicycle trip to the south of France. It's warm and beautiful. Wow, Bobby Webber does some great traveling as well as doing longer haul destinations. He spends a lot of time in San Remo, Italy, and now he's on the way to the south of France. That sounds bloody great. Good for you, Bobby. Good for you. And thanks for tuning in. Ian Bowden, good evening. I'm from Parents here in Dorset. Okay, well, say hello from me anyway. Cheers. I'll drink my nice cup of hot chocolate to that. Nice to hear from you, Ian. Oh, well, whatever. That's nice. I like my hot chocolate now. I like the ritual of that. Leo Malley, serious question, Eddie. Are the viewing figures down since you stopped drinking? Not really on this channel, not really. I mean, because this is a small channel. On the main channel, I used to get mega views, live stream views. When it depends. But this is a small channel, and they haven't really dropped into stop drinking. No, not at all. We've got a good little community here. Yogi Bear, good evening, Ed and gang. Well, I landed at Manchester at 8 a.m. this morning from Bangkok. Got home, did upgrades on computer, and booked to go back 1st of December this year for 5 months. 779 Emirates. Good for you, mate. Good for you. That sounds bloody good. And 779, that's the second time this week that someone suggested. Maybe the flight prices are just coming down a bit now. That sounds good. Good for you, mate, anyway. You obviously had a really good time. So, yeah, Tandra, no flies in, Eddie. I don't know where these little bastards came from. I really don't. I seen them last night, and now there's a few of them knocking around. Not so many. I don't know where they've come from. Really don't. Singapore, Dan, good evening. Rantalian, Eddie looking fresh. Okay. Rent boy, need me to rub some insect repellent on your head and keep those flies away? I'd rather keep you away, personally. Let's see. Here's a suggestion here. Yeah, okay, there you go. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So anyway, what's happening? Right now. Well, in terms of travel, I keep it. I haven't confirmed. I haven't looked into it yet. But about the Vietnam 3-month, 3-month, visa. That sounds pretty good. Sooner or later, I'll get my enthusiasm back for traveling. Right now, I'm in a very lethargic mode right now. I'm actually doing other things right now, but I will get back into travel fair enough. But at least the weather isn't too bad here right now. Dennis Stoichkov, back from holiday in Varna. Highly recommended, cheap, cheerful, and some lovely ladies. I went to Varna on the Black Sea coast in Bulgaria. But I didn't go to the beaches because it was raining at the time. So that didn't help much. But yeah, glad you had a good time, mate, anyway. Tandra, Rantalia, my best friend from Essex, calls me. Okay, I won't get into that. It was Ian Bowden. Lake Malvino was a stunning, small and less touristy lake that we went to in the Italian lakes, not far north of Como. And it's a beautiful part of the world. Lake Maggiore is close to the Swiss border because I was on a coach. I was on one of those coach journeys and went from Lake Maggiore right through Switzerland, which was lovely stuff. They were all the days before the Euro came along. Oh, lovely stuff. Rantalian, Vietnam is not Thailand, can't compare. Very different, but Vietnam can still be a good country. Tandra, I have clicked the like button. Thank you, Tandra. That's very good of you. Hopefully everyone else will as well. Sean Addis, yes, happy to come on it. Okay, well, I'll send you the link pretty soon. And in fact, I may as well send you that link now if that's okay. And you can come on and tell us whatever you want to tell us, whatever you want to talk about anyway, providing it's clean. So anyway, where are we now? Invite. There you go. So where are we now? There you go. I'll just put this. Sometimes it can take a fair while to come through this. There you go. Now, I think that worked. It may have worked or it may not have worked, but, sometimes it can take a while to come through. But anyway, hopefully we'll have Sean Addis on anyway to talk to us. Let me see. Fat boy slim, you're looking very slim, Eddie. Keep it up, you're looking good. Well, the thing is, it's deceptive. I mean, I'm definitely eating less. I mean, of a night time, yesterday I only ate once, and that was like late morning. I mean, last night when I finished this stream, I thought, I could have maybe soup or a bit of toast or whatever. But then I thought, well, am I hungry? And I wasn't really hungry. I thought, okay, well, I'm not hungry, then don't eat. So I'm learning to discipline myself, but I'm not building my hopes up yet on losing all the weight that I want to lose, and yeah, whatever. Because the thing is, when I've done this before, I've cut down my food and I've thought that I'm tightening up and I'm getting a bit lighter, and then when I eventually stood on the scales, instead of losing like a stone or 1.5 stone, which I thought I'd done, I've lost maybe 2 pounds. It's deceptive, really. So when I look down, I can't see a bear belly anymore. That's when I've lost weight. Ian Bowden, north of Garda, I think. Yeah, it's a lovely. I wouldn't say no to visiting that area again. And of course, Italy's got some lovely mountains on the Swiss border as well. Beautiful stuff. Yeah, yours travels. Yes, Vietnam now changing to 90 days. Might force Thailand back to the 45 days, which was great. Well, how about go the whole log? How about Thailand doing 90 days like Vietnam and Malaysia? This hot chocolate is lovely. Anyway, Rantalian, Thailand is as a Vietnam does not have. Yeah, but I mean they're both very, very different countries, but both well worth a visit. Crypto Chris, nice to hear from you. Mark Ollig, hi Eddie, hope all is well. Warm and sunny here today with a temperature of 85 degrees Fahrenheit. We're getting some of the smoke drifting into Minnesota from the Canadian wildfires. I can smell the smoke. Oh, well, I hope you're safe, but like I say, that's 85 degrees, bloody good temperatures there, mate. So I hope all's well anyway. Nice to hear from you. Nice to hear from you. Ginger Joe, Ed, been on holiday a few days, wild camping in Scotland, and then my native Geordie land for a good week of booze. Detox now, mate. P.S. Anyone done wild camping? It's a posh term for sleeping rough. It's okay, fair enough. I can't say that I've done it. That's one thing I've never ever done is camped. Never ever done. I've never ever done that. Camped. Not for me. I mean, some people say when I do a hotel review, oh, I couldn't stay in that hotel. I prefer a bit of comfort. But the same people may well go camping. I wouldn't bloody go camping. I don't want to sleep in some field somewhere. Crypto Chris is off the base till the weekend. Okay. Ian Barton. Traveling is a wonderful life experience, but it has rapidly becoming more and more difficult to enjoy due to hiking costs. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is becoming more expensive, and if it becomes more expensive, then you want it to be bigger and better. You don't just want it to be more expensive; you want it to be more fulfilling as well. So I'm bad me time right now. Sandra, Eddie, have you have any fruit that may be attracting the flies? No, not really. I can't say that I have got food, but I actually keep it in the fridge. I actually keep food in the fridge. So no, there's no food on display or anything like that. I don't know where the hell they're coming from. Yours travels, no alcohol until Saturday for me. Okay. This weekend will mark 3 months since I came off the booze. And I'm drinking hot chocolate here now, and I feel good for it. Oh, lovely stuff, lovely stuff. Let's see. Bottle baby, stick a dry sheet in your collar. Okay. Damon, nice to hear from you, Damon. How's it going? Evening, Mr. Ed. Hope all's well. Been in Thailand for a month in Isan, building a house. But I very quiet on my travels. Oh, that's well, being in Isan, that sounds really, really great. Good for you, mate. I hope the weather was good for you. Yeah, I've heard Pattaya is very, 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 very quiet. But we're now well into the low season. So, but I'm glad you had a good time anyway, mate. Nice to hear from you. Yours travels on this side, only to once a week and strictly gin and tonic. Okay, fair enough. Ian Bowden, apparently people live longer when they keep themselves busy after retirement. Good on you, mate. Okay, fair enough. Let's see, yours travels. Yogi, I haven't found gin to be like that. Okay, I'm not too sure what that's about there. Yeah, Sean Harris got the message, but no link code, just speech bubble link. Speech bubble link. You will get. Sometimes when I send it twice, it tends to work. StreamYards is very, very temperamental. StreamYards can be really, really, really temperamental. I'll send it now. I'll send it now a second time, okay? There you go. Hopefully, it could appear. It usually takes about 10 minutes or so for this link to come through. Gemini Star, Sean, come on and tell us a little bit about Newport in Wales. Is that where Sean is from? Is that where Sean? Well, I'm sure he'll tell us anyway. Tandra, Eddie, I know what you mean. When I wake up, I think, oh, time for breakfast. I'm not actually hungry, so I don't have it until around 11. Okay, I mean, the thing is, you can educate your mind to accepting less food. I mean, I've had some awful meals the last week. So I've had bacon. The bacon didn't taste right. The sausages didn't taste right. And it puts you in a frame of mind. I don't want those again. One thing that always hits the button for me is the Co-op lasagnas. And I have those with toast. Lovely stuff. I love those. But if you're not hungry, then don't eat. I am losing a few pounds. I'm feeling a little bit better for it. Ian Bowden. Yeah, I'm not going to comment on that one. Okay. So anyway, hopefully, Sean will be on soon. Kiki and Jasmine on the Trail of Love. Oh, excuse me. The rowing machine is good. You use a lot of muscles. You use a lot of muscles on that machine. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I've never had a rowing machine. I've got an exercise bike, but the thing is, I overdid the exercise last time around. Last year, and the end result is that I burned some of the muscle off. You know what I mean? And I ended up having terrible aches and all kinds of things. Anyway, we'll say hello to Sean Harris. He's a guest tonight. We'll say hello to Sean Harris. He's come along. I'll still be answering the chat anyway, but we'll see what Sean Harris is up to. He's been on before anyway. So, ladies and gentlemen, he's been on before. You liked him so much. We've invited him back. Welcome to Sean Harris. How are you, Sean?
Hello, Ed. Evening, Ed. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Yeah. We've got a nice little community here. It's lovely to chat.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a good little community. It's nice and easy going. There's no pressure on anyone or anything. Do you know some people? There's some vloggers who I like a lot, and I'd love them to come on this show, but they don't like feel comfortable with live streams and all that. Yeah, they really don't feel comfortable with live streams. So anyway, for those who didn't see the other week, Sean Harris is recently come back from Thailand, and he had a great time, didn't he, Sean? Yeah,
I did. Yes, I did. I should be heading out there again in October.
He said, "No, good for you, mate. Good for you." So that's how good Thailand can be. When you come back, you want to go there.
Yeah, it's really strange. I'm going to Vietnam as well. I'm going out on I'm going to Spain in August on like a family holiday thing, and then come October, I'm off to Vietnam.
Okay.
I'm going to go Hanoi and then Hue. I'll get a train to Hue. I want to go. I mean, I'm really interested because I grew up when the Vietnam War was on. I want to go to Khe Sanh and the DMZ, and then I want to finish in Ho Chi Minh City and So I'm hoping that the chat will be able to tell me the best places to go when I get to Ho Chi Minh, and then from there I'm going to fly to Bangkok. And do you know what's really strange, Ed? Really strange is to do that. So I'm going to fly from London to Hanoi, straight from Hanoi, Vietnam Airlines. Going to get the train down to Hue, overnight train with a sleeper, and then I'm going to fly to Ho Chi Minh City, and Ho Chi Minh City, and it come to just over £1,000, and the cheapest direct flight to Bangkok was like 900, 800, 900. So I figured I want to test Vietnam to see if I want to go back there and visit. So it's a bit of a test.
It's a centre. And the thing about Vietnam, I mean, it's a long, thin country, and it actually has different climates. I mean, you know, Hanoi is closer to China, really, and it's Hanoi is probably not bad now to go there weather-wise, but it gets a bit colder in our winter. Whereas Saigon at the other end is a different kettle of fish. You know, in our winter it's hot and sunny.
I think it's the wet season there, isn't it, in October? Or
it will be the wet season now in Saigon, but I think in Hanoi it'll be the opposite. That's it. They have different climates, those two ends of the country, really. But I was in Hanoi once in I can't remember what month it was, but there was an awful lot of rain. I think that was around about January. Whereas if you go to Saigon, I think it's generally dry at that time of year. Anyway, so have you not been to Vietnam before?
I've not been to Vietnam. No, it's one place I haven't visited before. Always wanted to go, but haven't been there. So it's quite exciting. I've booked a couple of hotels, but I haven't booked Ho Chi Minh City. So I was hoping some of the chatters could give me some advice that I could look through, maybe tell me best areas, best hotels, best ladies.
Yeah. I first went to Vietnam about 20 odd years ago, something like that, and I went to Ho Chi Minh, you know, and before going there to Phuket. But I went to Ho Chi Minh. I thought it was wonderful, and also Dalat. I went to Dalat, and I loved it so much. The people of Ho Chi Minh were so friendly, and it was such a wonderful experience. And I thought, I've got to go back. The next time I come to Vietnam, I've got to go to the other end of the country to see more. So a few years later, I went to Hanoi, and I found it was a different kettle of fish. The people there were a little bit colder. And as I traveled down through Vietnam, I kind of latched on to other British tourists, or other tourists, Western tourists, and they tended not to like the North Vietnamese at all, really. They thought they were far more hostile. Maybe because there's a big difference between 20 years ago and now. 20 years ago, you were closer, you know, to when all the bad things happen. Whereas I know they happen a long time, but 20 years can make a difference. Whereas now, it's a very much younger generation. I went to Hanoi about 3 years ago, but it was about 3 years ago, I think it was. And it's very, very different now. You don't get any hostility. The people there were really, really nice.
I've been watching some of your back catalogue of videos on Vietnam. I sort of caught a few of them. So, and I've been doing my research because the money's a bit funny, isn't it? Really. So I did myself a little thing of how much the money's worth. Like, so 500,000 is like about 16 quid. Yeah.
With the exchange, I can never remember. Once I leave the country, I forget about the exchange. I think that at one time, a few years ago, it was 20,000 dong to $1. It was something like that. It was something like that. But it's I
don't know if anybody is it best to change money out there like it is in Thailand, or is there not so many places to change?
Well, I used an ATM card, you know, in more recent times. In Vietnam, I think some of those ATMs won't give you much money, but I think you're probably better, whichever way you do, you're probably better out there in Vietnam to change money. But if you take US dollars, that's probably very, very easy. They're not so familiar with the British pound, funnily enough. Right.
I think wherever I went, I remember seeing. I mean, the first time I went to Bangkok, which is a terrific story, was way back in
Yeah.
In what, 91?
Yeah.
And but I'll tell you that another time. I'll tell a story otherwise it'd be for ages. But that was an experience.
Yeah.
So yeah. So who was it who asked about Newport? Someone asked me about Newport.
Somebody mentioned, is that where you're from?
I'm from. I actually live on Newport on the Isle of Wight. Originally, I was from Bournemouth.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's funny. I worked and I did retire, and I went to stay in Thailand for a while, and then my work got in touch with me and said, "Would you consider if you're back in the UK? Would you consider?" So I'm working on like a part-time basis. We've got this ideal that so if I need the time, because ultimately I want to do 6 months.
Yeah. Terrific.
And what this does, this work, it will enable me to, because I could probably live in Thailand on the small pension that I've got, but I wouldn't be able to go other places, if you know what I mean. I'd be there and I could probably stay there for 6 months, but I wouldn't be able to say, oh, I fancy going to Laos, or I fancy going, somewhere like that. So
absolutely. I mean, I personally right now, because I've been to these countries, quite a lot over the years. Right now, something says, and I think it's because I'm off the booze. I think that's got something to do with it. My enthusiasm for travel is being zapped in recent times. And I've kind of run out of ideas, but it will come back. It will come back, especially when we come to the pits of winter. That's when it will come back.
That's it. I think what it is, it's been a strange few years. Do you know what I mean? It's been a strange few years, because I remember seeing your videos before when you thought you were going to get stuck, didn't you? Just before that monster pandemic thing. And it was like you could thinking, oh my goodness, what am I going to, So, but you will get it back, I'm sure, Ed, and we'll all be looking forward to seeing your travels and finding out what's going on. So
on a personal basis, it would be nice if I could get healthy, because I mean, I've been saying for years I'm going to get off the booze. This year I've finally done it. I've also been saying for years I'm going to get fit and lose weight. So hopefully I can do that this year as well, and then I'll be in a better frame of mind to go traveling. So anyway, I'll just have a little.
I don't know if the chat wants to ask me anything.
Let's see. Okay, let's see. You've got it. I'll come up to date. Apologies if I've missed anyone here. Apologies if I've missed anyone. Yes. Bobby Crush. This is the question. Sean is a diamond. Okay, he's a diamond.
Well, thanks, Bobby. I appreciate that. We're all diamonds. I feel like we actually know each other on this chat. Where we've been going for so long, it just feels that we know each other.
It's a great little community, a terrific little community. Tamra, one thing about a motorhome, great, you have everything there, but you have to pack everything before you pull off. A motorhome, it's I've thought about that, but it's never really been my thing. I wouldn't mind giving it. I mean, I'd certainly consider it, but vehicles are so expensive now.
I did do a motorhome thing in America. I rented a motorhome in America once with my daughter because she wanted to go.
Yeah.
There's old Mark there. Look. Hello, Mark. How you doing?
Minnesota. Okay, thank you, Mark. So anyway, a few other people here. Gemini, you're popular. Gemini Star. Sean's a lovely fella. Got a lot to share. Okay, there you go. Any
Thanks,
questions?
mate. Thanks, mate.
Ian Bowden. I apologize for being a bit rude sometimes there, but all done in good banter. Ian Bowden is very, very is great on this chat. I've met Ian a few times personally. Ian Bowden comes up with some great questions, some great ideas for questions to us. And I've used quite a few of them. So he's a really, really, really good person to have in the chat. Mark Oleg. I remember now. Well, Mark is is American. I mean, I was. I'll tell you what. I have explained this in a video, but what was the first news story that you ever became aware of in your life? When you're a little child and you're in the living room playing with your toys, and you realize that there's this program on called The News. And it's telling you about all the bad things that's happened in the world. The first news story you ever became aware of in your life. Well, for me, it was the Vietnam War. It had to be. It was on the news every single night. And so I had a bit of a fascination with it.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm sure it is. It's of an era, because I would have been, you know, about 13, 14, 15, and you were getting all this on the news. And I watched a program once, really interesting program. It was saying that after Vietnam, because there was just no new censorship, and like, you know, there was all foreign correspondence. When we had the Falklands War in '82, they had there was only chosen journalists. And I don't know if you remember, we used to get information like 25 days after. So it's quite an interesting program, that. But yeah, just fascinating. And I obviously, it's funny enough, I've been having a conversation with a friend of mine, and we were discussing what movies would be the best. But I don't know if we can talk about it on YouTube, because you know, there might be a sensitive topic.
Well, I actually, if you go very, 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 very deep down into my YouTube channel, I have a video on the Coochie tunnels I've
seen that.
But YouTube wouldn't monetize it at all. You know, it was a sensitive subject. Anyway, Charlie says Vietnam introducing 90-day tourist visa from August 16th. That's good, and that is good. I like the sound of that. I really like the sound of that.
I'm only in Vietnam for like 11 days, but I think from what I've researched and what I've been told, you can actually get a 15-day visa on arrival or something like that. I don't know if that's correct.
It's say 15 days, but don't forget I'd opt for 14 days. Don't forget 15 days. 15 days. The first day and the day that you leave is, you know, is 2 separate days. So 15 days is really 14 days if you think about it. It's similar like that in Thailand. You best have a day before. But I did that when I went to Hanoi a few years ago. But the most I've stayed at any one time in Vietnam is 1 month, and a 90-day to spend a whole 90 days there. That sounds bloody good. It's the problem with Vietnam is the geography of it. It's a long, thin country. And really, if you're going to go to Vietnam, you're better flying in at one end and flying out at the other. If you have a return flight from say Hanoi or Saigon, then you explore the rest of the country. But then you're going to have to return to that place. You see, you're better flying into one end and flying out the other, and then you don't have to backtrack on yourself. It's very, very strange, the geography of that country. But that sounds great. 90 days, I'd be all for that. Ian Bowden says, will you fancy visiting Dalat, Sean? Not too far from Ho Chi Minh City.
I'm sort of fairly short on time, I think, Ian. So but what I want to do is, this will give me a flavour of the country, and then maybe later on or next time we'll go for one of those 90-day ones, like one of the guys in the chat was saying about. So this is a bit of a taste. This is a bit of a taster for me. I want to do a little bit of culture, a little bit of history, and then I want to finish in Ho Chi Minh City with should we say, a little bit of a little bit of fun. So
a little bit of fun. Really, I mean, Bui Vien Street, District 1. Jesus, that looks like you know what you'd expect. I've never been to Las Vegas, but I can imagine that's what it looks like, you know, with dancing girls and all that. That's sprung up since I've been going to Vietnam, because when I first went there 20 odd years ago, there was it was Phen and Glau Street. That was where the bars were. And Bui Vien, I don't even remember that being lively. And now, like, that's all bright lights and everything and all that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. Yours Travels would love to go to Saigon. Yeah, Bottle Baby. Sean, how was the visa experience? Took me 8 tries and ended up not going because the approval took so long. What is he talking about? Is that
what about Vietnam? I haven't been before, so I'm just hoping to get the 15-day on arrival.
Okay. Yeah, Mark Oleg says it's 80 Fahrenheit in Hanoi now and raining, of course. Yeah, but 80 Fahrenheit. I mean, okay, it may be raining, but it's 80 Fahrenheit still probably be a lot colder than that in our winter. They do have a different climate. It's a good place, damn good place. I would always return to Vietnam.
It would be great if we could sort of have a chat and meet up with some of the others, and maybe if people are traveling, if there was some way we could like, perhaps someone's in the area the same time as in the area, and hey, you know how it goes. Anyway, what we got here?
Yeah, Colabad. When in Saigon, stay at a home in Banter on the Mekong Delta. The greatest travel experience of my life. They even cooked us rat for say yuck, which was strangely delicious. Strangely delicious. I stayed in the Mekong Delta. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't stay in the Mekong Delta, but I went there on a day trip. I've done a couple of days. No, I did stay there. What am I saying? I did stay there. I've been there a couple of times. Once was on a day trip from Saigon. You can do a day trip there from Saigon. And it was fascinating, all those villages down there. Very, very authentic. And the other time I stayed in two of the towns down that way for a few days each, Can Tao and Chow Dock. So yeah, I have stayed in the I have stayed in the Mekong Delta, and it's well worth a visit. Kiki and Jasmine, Natrang, okay. Natrang is ultimately a bit disappointing that because Natrang was tipped by some years ago to be the new Pattaya, Vietnam's version of Pattaya. But last I seen of it, it was just more and more Russian. I mean, I think, you know, there was just so many Russians there, and if you're not Russian, you don't really fit in there. And the thing about Natrang, if you go in where the bars are, and the beach is okay, but if you go where the bars are in the town, it doesn't feel like a beach resort. It feels a bit rough and ready. You know what I mean?
Actually, that's quite funny. Going back now, 1989, I took Aeroflot via Moscow, and it was still communist then. And it was just still communist, and there were loads of Vietnamese in the airport there, and the big Russians with those big massive hats and the peak caps, and he goes to me, he goes, visa, because I'd met someone on the plane, and they said, oh, come and stay, and they didn't let me in, so that was on a Aeroflot trip to India.
Yeah.
What we got here?
Okay. Your Travel says, just get the Agoda, Sean. You can filter everything. That's how I get all my 4- and 5-star hotels for £25 a night. I've never used. I always use Booking.com, but Agoda. It seems that that's the way forward. Agoda.
Well, thanks for that, Yoz. Yeah, I mean, I use Booking as well. I've actually booked the hotel in Hanoi, and I've booked the hotel in Hue, but I haven't booked anything at Saigon or Ho Chi Minh City. So. So I will check it out, but generally I use Booking, I think, or I go between Trip and Booking because I like to see, because sometimes, I mean, I know it's only a couple of quid, but sometimes it can make a difference. But a lot of people recommend Agoda, so thanks, Yoz.
Yeah. Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, thanks, Yoz, for that info. Ian Bowden, do the locals call it Ho Chi Minh, or do they call it Saigon now? Well, it's a question of age, isn't it? And don't forget, you know, it was changed from Saigon many years ago. But a lot of the signs, last time I was there, a lot of the signs still say Saigon. They still say, I mean, the word Saigon is not a banned word by the communists. I think there's even some bars there called Lost in. There was one called Lost in Saigon there, where when I was there many years ago, and So yeah, a lot of people. Vietnam's a very, very unified country now. I mean, I think they've put the war behind them. Like, I think you know, the older locals probably still call it Saigon, whereas, you know, the more modern ones will call it Ho Chi Minh. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Issa, man. Even Nick Dean said last high season in Pattaya was 70% of the pre-pandemic. I reckon it'll be around 50%. Okay, nice to hear from you, Isan, man. He lives in Isan. And
whereabouts in Isan does Isan man live?
Where I think he lives there, Udon Thani. But
Udon Thani. Because I mean, I've stayed quite a lot in Calasin, and Khon Kaen. I mean, I love Khon Kaen. Khon Kaen's like just that's so good.
Yeah, of course you went there recently. Yeah, I've missed
out. Right.
That's still somewhere. The Isan area in Thailand, there's still a place I've never got around to explore, and I've seen a lot of the other places, but not that. The real Dutch Farang, Ho Chi Minh and Saigon is the same city. Yes. Okay, let's see. What else have we got here? Yeah, Gemini Star. Exchanging your money is always better in Vietnam than the UK. Yeah, because I mean, Vietnam don't know anything about the British pound, and the British pound doesn't know anything about Vietnamese dong. So you're better taking dollars, really.
I've actually got some dollars left over from when I was in the States, because I've got them in my top drawer.
Yeah.
Is it like Thailand? They like the big bills. They like the big bills, I guess.
Well, my own personal experience, and I can't remember what denominations, you know, the Vietnamese dong come in. Like, you know, even though I've used them a lot, but for the really big bills, I think I'd use US dollars, because they do accept US dollars. They, you know, in a lot of places, especially hotels and whatever, they will accept them. Ian Bowden, Yogi Bear. So I guess it's more respectful to call it Saigon to locals then. Yeah, the older ones will probably like you for that. Let's see. Yeah, yours travels. Yeah, exactly what I'd be doing. 6 months UK, 6 months Thailand. Sounds good. Yep. That sounds bloody good. That sounds terrific. Absolutely terrific.
I found a little place I looked at, which was on the dark side of Pattaya. I mean, it's out of the way a bit, but it was fair. It's probably gone up now, but sort of just after the pandemic, it was 3,900 baht a month with free internet, but you had to pay the electric. It's out of the way a little bit, but it was a fairly new build. And I thought, well, I could probably do that for 6 months. You know, so, and then it was about what, an hour, 15 minutes walk to the beach road, or you could get a BART bus. But the trouble is with the BART buses, you had to make sure you got on the right one up there, otherwise you could end up somewhere.
Okay, so let's see, Charlie, just use ATM and get local currency. US, it was 20 years ago, and you get screwed over and laughed at if you're dull enough to take them down now. Okay, fair enough. McLaren says, what's the Vietnamese currency? Yeah, it's the dong. Is it? Yeah, you know. Bottle baby. Okay, well, I think we had that question before. Yeah, Richard. Oh, hi Sean. I'm just heading out to Bangkok in 2 weeks. Been saving all year and can't wait. Flight prices are ridiculous, though. Cannot wait to eat Thai street food. Pad Krapao Moo with a bottle of Leo. Okay.
Bottle of Leo. Well, actually, Richard. I generally drink Leo. That's generally my. But I'm one of these strange people that I've got used to having ice into the beer now. So I'll have a glass with ice, and then I'll pour the beer into it. So I know some people think that's like, ooh, you know, they don't like that. It's like, you're mad. How can you do that? So, but I've just got used to it, I guess.
Oh, okay. Let's see. McLaren says he's King Dong. Yeah. Ruddock Daniels, you can change your English pounds up in the gold shops of Vietnam. Really, I'd only deal with it with a proper exchange build. To be honest with you. What is this? Let's see. Yours travels. He's on to Dutch here. I might look at marriage myself and girlfriend get serious. You want a baby? Okay, well, good for you. Good for you.
Good for you.
It's entirely up to you, mate. It was entirely up to you. Yeah, Kiki and Jasmine. I was born in 73. I think that was the year the Vietnam War ended. I think it actually ended 2 years later. Am I right in saying that? I think 73 was when the Paris Agreement was signed, but it took another couple of years. It raged on for another couple of years, didn't it? And it was
75, I think.
Yeah.
And I think they call the place where it was stormed, I think they've rebuilt it, and it's called something like the Freedom Palace or something. So, you know, there's that famous thing on the news where they, 73. That was I was 13 years old in 73.
73. I was 11. I was 11. Mark Allen. Yes, we're all family here. I wonder if BBC One will be interested in broadcasting a live chat program called Eddie's Chat Family. I'd be all for that. You could suggest that to the BBC if you want. I've got nothing against them. I mean, maybe I should change my theme tune to "We Are Family." Absolutely. I like the idea of that. Yeah.
I think a lot of people in the chat would have some wonderful stories to tell. We could, maybe, like I say, a place, because I bet they've got some wonderful travel stories over the years. I certainly have.
Okay, well, I'll ask you about a few in a minute. Yeah, Sean Young, Bouvienne Street and Pastor Street, great places to drink, similar to UK beer prices, but
I'm going to write that down.
But alleyway bars work out as little as 70 pence a pint. Hotel Kim, Bouvienne Street. I'm just going to disappear for 1 minute while I'm going to refill my hot chocolate.
That's all right. You go for it, Eddie. Yeah. So, I mean, I can't actually read the chat, fellas, but yeah. So I don't know what stories you'd like to hear, but I went traveling. When I was younger, and then I did the sort of settling down, the white picket fences in the house, and the wife, and what have you, and then. Obviously, it's all gone south, and so I've started in the past 10 years now. I've been coming, doing a bit of work, and then on my travels. I love the USA. Used to be my go-to place. The USA was for vacation. Used to love anything America, and then I went out to Thailand, and it was like, I don't know if you guys are the same when you've been to Thailand. When you leave, there's like this big spring that hits you on the back and says, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Come back, come back." So yeah, but I bet some people have got some great stories. I mean, I could tell you my first time I went to Bangkok, which I was talking about, was what year would that have been? That would have been 91. I think it was about 78 or 80 baht to the pound. I'd been to India. It was the same thing as that sort of Aeroflot trip. I've been to India. I spent a bit of time in India, got really, really ill, decided I needed to get out of India. So I flew to Thailand, to Bangkok, on my way to Australia. Spent a few nights in a hotel. Couldn't tell you where it was these days. It was called the Golden Dragon. And I met this was like Thailand. And I met this Kenyan dude. I don't know if I told you, this Kenyan dude, Aussie dude. And we went out, and that was my first experience, shall we say, of the delights of Thailand. And if I hadn't have felt so rough after India, I probably would have still been there now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, John Mitch is here. John Mitch phoned in. He was on the phone the other night. Great to hear from him. JFK assassination was my first news item that I became aware of. Well, obviously that was a big one. I said, didn't I? I was born in 62. I said that the Vietnam War was my first news story. But the one that, which I remember in my life, there was, of course, another one when I was, a few years on from that. One small step for man. That possibly that one is one as well. But yeah, I was too young to remember the JFK assassination.
Did you ever watch the movie, the Kevin Costner movie, JFK, Ed?
I did, and it was very, very, it was very good, and it was well acted, and it was an Oliver Stone movie, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
I like Oliver Stone, but I must admit, Sean, that is one news story that I think it's been overdone over the years. There comes a time you think, not this again.
And do you think it was a conspiracy or not?
Oh, I don't think it was.
No, I don't think it was.
I'm not an expert on it. I'm not an expert. But if I was to put money on it, I'd put money on it being not a conspiracy, because I think, like a lot of conspiracies, if it was, someone would have spilled the beans by now.
It's like the moon. I mean, that wouldn't have been the moon. I mean, someone would have, with all the whistleblowers and the internet and stuff.
Absolutely, Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it could well have been, but nobody's proved anything. I mean, what is it, 60 years? Of course, again, come this November, there's going to be more documentaries because it's the 60th anniversary. And I know, it was a big news story in this day, but I was too young to remember, the influence that JFK had, and so I think it's just one of those news stories that after a few years you think, I've heard all of this before.
Yeah, yeah, they seem to. It's funny, like every so often, every so many years, you get the same news stories pop up about JFK or Howard Hughes or this. So yeah.
Mark, I wouldn't flip off the Thailand guard. Not saying. I wouldn't either. May as well put this because we have some delightful trolls. We have some delightful trolls. There you go. Okay. Well, you know exactly who we are. You watch this bloody live stream every night.
We're like Statler and Waldorf, off the Muppets.
Kiki and Jasmine. Multi-city flights can sometimes be cheaper than return flights.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I should experiment with all of that. I don't think I've ever booked anything like that.
Yeah, I think if you put in multi-city, and you can do it on like the sky scanners and all the things, you just put in places you want to go, and then it does a calculation and gives you the flights.
Yeah. Now this is yours travels. Yours has said that he might just marry his girlfriend in Thailand, and I think Yogi is. I didn't see what Yogi said, but he's replying, Yogi, I'm a wise lad. I'm not someone who would get ripped off. I met Elisa on Thai Friendly. She's worked in the accounts office of a hotel chain for many years. She isn't a Pat's Bar girl. I mean, people do marry some wonderful Thai girls and probably live very, very hard. It's down to your own adult judgment. And yours is a very intelligent fella, so I'm pretty sure he knows what he's doing. I mean, would you marry a Thai girl, Sean?
Me, probably not. I don't think I would. I mean, the thing is, I've found like I've had a few relationships, and whether it's me being selfish or whatever, but I just think that I just like my own independence, and I think like you were saying, you get a little bit happy in your own world, and yeah, it's lovely to maybe have a relationship for a short time, but and that's happened to me a couple of times. I mean, I could have had a chance of a bar in Thailand because the girl really liked me, and that was so funny because this girl said to me, and this she said, oh, I'm going to take you out tonight, and we went down to there's a place up towards Soy 6, and but it's on Beach Road. It's like a bar, and they've got a band in there. It's a bit of a long bar, and we went in there and we had a few beers and we watched this band, and when it come to the check bin, and she took the check bin and paid it, people were taking a step back, and it's like, what? You know what I mean? And then we went and played some pool, and she thought that it was like, but I got to be honest, she wasn't really.
And I just don't. My problem is I just don't trust anyone. Absolutely, man, woman. I don't even trust the dog. I don't even trust the cat. I don't trust anyone or anything.
Yeah, and I think that's like some of your values I really relate to. It's like when we did the Pantanic and that, and some of the values in with the chatters, and I think we're all pretty. And if you do decide that you want, it's great as long as you're happy, and as long as you're happy doing what you're doing, it's fine. And you can't let other people. If people have got a problem with you, that's their problem. And
Sean seems to have froze there for a moment. Yeah, I'll just say, like, I would love to, in an ideal world, meet her. Sean's back. I would love to meet a nice girl and fall in love and get married. But I'm just too cynical. Really. And also, I've heard other guys who've had bad experiences, and whenever I heard another guy having a bad experience, I think, nah, not for me. I can deal without that. I've come this far with them.
I mean, as I say, I've got the relative that lives up in Isan or near Somdet, and I think he's one of those people that feels like he's a bit of a lord of the village because he is pretty free with his money. And I'm like, well, if you're happy, Rog. I mean, I did say to him, I said, are you sure You know, he's had a house built, he's had, but he seems really, really happy. So, and if that's the case, and his lady's really, really nice, although they've moved the family in now, he's got the daughter and the daughter's kids and everyone else. But I think he quite enjoys it because it makes him feel that he's, even if he's not, even if he's a bit deluded, at least he's happy. And I said to him, I said, as long as you're happy, you know, we're of an age now where, I start thinking how much time we've got left. You know what I mean? So you just got to be happy, Ed. You got to be happy and do what you want to do. So
I'm happy because in the right now I'm very, very lethargic. I'm not doing much. I'm in very, very relaxed mode. I mean, I have actually done something this year that I've been planning on doing for donkey's years, and that is kicking the booze. You know, that's I've actually finally done it. I didn't think I could do so. At least I've achieved something this year. And
if I have to say, you look the better for it, mate. You do look the better for it.
Okay, thank you for that, Sean. Thank you. I feel pretty good as well. No more hangovers or anything like that. But yeah, that's. I feel better for it. So what I need to do now is start eating a bit healthier. I feel satisfied because, like, I've already had about 10 years of retirement. So I've travelled to all the places I always wanted to travel to. So right now, it's like just thinking, what next? Anyway, Mark.
2025 a road trip to the USA, Ed. That's what you need.
Okay, I'll bear that one in mind. Mark, hopefully I'll be a couple of stone lighter by then. Mark Oleg says, I remember the JFK assassination. I was in school and the afternoon classes were cancelled. Terrible day. Okay, fair enough. I remember the John Lennon killing. I don't remember JFK. Let's see. Charlie, the 90-day visas from 15th of August, not sick, but I'm saying it's multi-entry, so you can go back and forth for neighboring. That sounds terrific. John Mitt says the 90-day Vietnam visa apply online. US dollars 30. This is sounding better and better. It's sounding better and better. We'll have to do another report about this. Let's see. Yogi Bear says, I was just waiting to see how the new visa laws work out in the Philippines. Well, last time I looked, what was putting some people off with the Philippines was that they were acquiring, an up-to-date booster, for the antivirus. Let's see. Yeah, Ian Bowden says, Sean, when in Nam, we can recommend bun cha, a lovely national meat dry noodle dish. Also, the French-inspired banh mi, but I love the banh mi. I love it. I was watching a video the other day, funnily enough, and they were doing the banh mi. That was the French bread with all kinds of different fillings, and their bread is far nicer than in Thailand because obviously it's the French influence. And egg coffee. So I never got around to an egg coffee. Tastes much nicer.
Thanks for that, Ian. I'll try that. I remember that. I'll write them down, and I will take that, and I'll report back to you.
Do you know what I was told to try that? Maybe because it didn't sound very good. An egg coffee. I never got around to having one of them. Maybe I will try stuff like that. Now that I'm not drinking beer, maybe I will try stuff like that. But that would be interesting. That would.
What did you eat on your Taiwan travels?
Well, one of the things I ate was the wrong thing because I ended up with food poisoning. In Taiwan, I did a little video. I can't remember really. I can't really remember.
I went to China, and for breakfast they had these things called bouncers, which were like steamy bun things. So I do like to try different stuff.
Yeah, I did have some tasty food in Taiwan, but then the second week I got food poisoning, so I can't remember.
Yeah, I remember your video on that. It was like, oh no, because that can spoil it. It's like when I was in India. India's been spoilt for me because I was ill and I haven't actually been back. But people say, oh, you should go back. You should go back.
Yeah.
Hello, David.
In India, I was in India for a month, and I was worried about getting the Delhi belly. And for the first couple of weeks, fine. And I thought, this Delhi belly is a myth. And then all of a sudden, halfway through the month, I got Delhi belly. And oh my God, I was suffering badly after that. really, really badly after. David Coleman, nice to hear from you. Yeah, David Coleman, I hear the women in Saigon are really beautiful. There are some, oh yeah, yes. Yeah, there are some lovely birds in Saigon. There's also some lovely birds in Vung Tau and Hanoi, and some lovely women in Vietnam. Absolutely, absolutely.
Do they have much in the way of ladyboys?
Sean, I was shocked, horrified, so much that I actually done a video of it. I did a video when I was in Saigon, Bui Vien Street, and I was astonished the last time I was there just how many ladyboys there are. I mean, there are lots of ladyboys. I mean, when you think about it, you think ladyboys, obviously you think of Thailand. Cambodia's got a few ladyboys, but obviously they lack the finesse, you know, the sophistication of their Thai counterparts. But Vietnam, whatever your images of Vietnam and the people there, you simply don't think of ladyboys. And the first time I went there, I don't recall seeing any, but now there's quite a lot of them. There's quite a lot of them. And I don't know, you go back about 3 years, and there is a video on my list on the other channel about it. Definitely, you know, Vietnam ladyboys. Oh God, this doesn't sound right somehow. Let's see. Mark Alex says it was a they. Okay. He's convinced JFK assassination. You know, it was a they who did it. Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Sean Young, tip for you, Sean. Events in Vietnam on a 15-day visa. The immigration office usually has to see a paper copy of your outbound flight. Yeah, really.
Thanks for that, mate, because normally I just use the phone, but I'll get a hard copy of that. Appreciate that, Sean. Thank you.
Okay. What's this? Paul Oscar, going to drink under the table, party like Raiders of the Lost Ark. Okay. Tampa guy, 127 watching, only 22 likes. Come on, people. Okay, press the like button, everyone, please. Press the like button. It's free, and it does help the channel. And 139 people watching now anyway. So you've got the ratings up anyway. Let's see. Yeah, the real Dutch Farang. I have told so many times to Ho Chi Minh and had a blast with my tank in battlefield. Vietnam. You know, there are a few Vietnam vets who watch this channel. I think Robert Burnett is another one. There's quite a few who've been watching this channel over the years. Respect to them. Absolute respect.
Definitely.
Yeah. Let's see. David R. Ed Cupertine. Time to lose a stuff. Now, David R. has been on this chat on the other channel quite a few times. He's lost a lot of weight. I think he's down to must be below 13 stone now. So full credit to him. Full credit to David. Anyway. Yours Travels. My girl is from a place called Mukdahan. Next to the Lao border and the Friendship Bridge for visa on. Her family have a huge farm. That sounds good. Good for you, mate. Anyway, good for you. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, where are we now? I'll skip forward a teensy weensy little bit.
I'll shut up for a bit so you can catch up with the chat.
Yeah, it is something. It's a Dark and Donkey. They need more alcohol beers in Thailand now. Many people, especially younger generation, are shifting towards it. I mean, for me, I mean, I keep hearing that, you know, alcohol-free Heineken tastes just like it. I'm sure I tasted that once. I mean, I mean, if it was an alcohol-free beer, I'd drink it because obviously it's not alcohol, is it? But whether it sounds like the real thing, I'm not so sure. Nick Ross, Vietnam ended 1975. The war did anyway. Okay. Yeah, Mark Oleg. I remember everyone trying to get on the helicopters at the embassy. Yeah, absolutely. It was terrifying. You know, dreadful scenes. Absolutely dreadful. The dreadful scenes. Yours Travels. Yeah, I got a few crazy stories when I lived in Mexico City.
That's the only place. That's the only place I nearly got mugged. Mexico. Well, no, that was There's a code. I was in the tube station, and silly me, I pulled some money out, and as I got on the tube, I got jostled, and I had one of these silly bum bags, and they tried to grab it off me.
Yeah.
So, but I managed to get away with that one. But yeah, no, Mexico City's great.
Well, if Yoz wants to come on one of these nights and tell us about his Mexico stories.
Oh, Yoz. Yeah.
He spent a lot of time there.
The hotel I stayed in Mexico City, I was right up the top, and they didn't have a lift, and I had to walk up the stairs. And because it's so high, I think I was sort of really getting out of breath.
Yeah, I never went to Mexico City when I was there. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, Marco, Eddie has a hot chocolate attraction. Is that her name? I love my hot chocolate now. There's different variants of, but the Cadbury's hot chocolate, lovely stuff. It's so good. After I finish a cup, I always want another one. Yeah, Ian Bowden, Sean, do you expect to go down those extremely claustrophobic tunnels used by locals during the war? I couldn't. The Coochie tunnels.
I will try them. I mean, I don't know if anyone's ever done potholing or anything like that, but you know.
Yeah. Well, I went down the Coochie tunnels, with a friend of mine. And it is on the video there, but I went down there, and there is an exit, but I think they've widened them a little bit. But even so, it's so narrow, and I got a little bit claustrophobic, and I actually come out halfway. The exit, I thought I can't take this, but then I went back in and completed the rest of it. But I've done that. I wouldn't do it again. There were some people who just bottled out of it all together, and I'm glad that I'd done it. But when you think those, and obviously they're small in stature, those Vietnamese people, they were actually camped out in there, and they were cooking down there and doing all kinds of things. But what I did. You are part crawling and part walking when you're down there, crawling. After I'd been down there for days afterwards, my legs were aching because I'd activated muscles in my legs that I don't normally use, because of the crawling, aspect of it. I've been there and done that, but I wouldn't do it again. Okay, let's see. Legan says, "Hi guys, would feel weird going to Vietnam. Being American, I grew up watching the war on the news every night. It wasn't good news with all the body counts. That was a long time ago. They put it behind them now. They put it behind them. And there's a lot of Americans. You do meet a lot of Americans in Vietnam. They love it there. They absolutely love it. I met some great American people when I was in Vietnam many a time. Let's see. Okay." Yeah, Yogi Bear. Ed, the thing that stands out for me about the Vietnam War was the newsreel showing a young girl run down the road with burns. Oh, that was that's like an iconic image. That is, it's tragic, but it's dreadful. But it's in the past that now. It is in the past. I mean, Vietnam now. So there are some people who go to Vietnam without even doing any of the war memorabilia. So it's certainly not all about that. Not all about that at all, really. Yeah. Art Schuler. Nice to hear from you, Gareth. I'm 50 in Newcastle, England. My first news item that I noticed as an 11-year-old on television was the coal miners' strike. Okay, yeah, that was another one that went on and on and on. Arthur Scargill and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, that was in the 1980s, wasn't it?
Does Hard Tulip like football at all? Does he like Newcastle United or?
Gareth, I don't know if he's ever mentioned that, but he is from that way. Yeah, McLaren says Lord Luca was spotted in Battaya picking up 2 birds the other day. Well, he's been around.
Still around.
Let's see. Okay. Ian Bowden. I can imagine that terrestrial TV will be obsolete by 2040 due to the masses watching this kind of evening entertainment instead. Terrestrial TV, well, it's dead. It's dead now. I don't watch terrestrial TV. I watch Netflix, Amazon, and YouTube. But yeah, good idea anyway, mate. Let's see, where are we now? Yeah, Stephen James, what's the one holiday you remember your best ever story?
My
What was your best ever story? Which holiday from?
toughie.
Yeah,
That's a real tough one because each one's been really good. I would say probably for me would be the first time I went to America,
yeah,
which was 1989, and I bought I got laid off work, got some money, I got some payout, and I was in a relationship. It wasn't going very well, and I just thought I've always wanted to go to America. I'm going to go, and it was Virgin Atlantic had just started up, and I was flying to Miami, sat on that plane, thinking Uzi machine guns and muggins and all stuff like that, and I had a blast. I would say that was probably that journey. I had a 30-day Ameripass, Greyhound pass, and
yeah.
I could spend all days on that story. So
Yeah.
I've got some stories to tell, but I don't know if they'd be I don't know if the YouTube would like
If they pass the censor. There you go. Yeah, yeah. Wait a minute. Let me see. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, Mark Alec says, I'm with Sean. I would not want to change me married at this stage of life. Everything works and I get no complaints. So we'll keep on going on. Absolutely. Good for you. Good for you anyway. I mean, you don't owe anything to anyone else. You don't owe it to get married, or there's no compulsion, to get married later in life. I mean, I just feel that I've been around the block so many times. Who cares anyway, really?
That's it. I think sometimes when you're in a relationship and you go traveling, especially if you go traveling, you become very, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do the other.
Yeah. Mark Alex says, I wonder if I spent more quid on chocolate drinks than he did on booze. No, not by a long way. I drink hot chocolate and I drink cold drinks. I like the diet ginger beer. That's nice. But what I'm drinking now in soft drinks, nowhere near equals what I was drinking in booze, what I was spending on booze. Absolutely. Definitely. I've heard this one before. David Coleman, we're loading the family dog in Thailand. You guys need to wake up and smell the coffee. Okay, that's David Coleman's input there. Yeah. Stephen Tutty likes it. Lovely chat with Sean. You seem like a wise man. Okay.
Thank you, Stephen. Appreciate that. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, Robert Burnett. I'm older than Eddie, but finally learned not to trust anybody. Careful of those who really want to help you with a hand in your pocket. Yeah, absolutely. I don't trust anyone. I believe that Robert Burnett is a Vietnam veteran. Am I right in saying that? I think Robert Burnett's been watching this. He was in the Vietnam War many years ago. I think he was anyway. Yeah, Mark Alec. I remember when Howard Cosell announced Lennon's death on Monday Night Football broadcast. That was 1980. Jesus, God Almighty! I remember that very, very well. I think I was 18 years old then.
Remember the name of the dude that shot him?
Mark Chapman.
Wow, there's a point for you.
Is he still in prison?
I don't know.
As far as I know, he is. I've never ever heard of him being released. But very, very sad. I mean, the thing about Lennon, he actually had a bodyguard at some time. At the time when he had a big Rolls Royce and he painted it flat in the flowery colours, he did have a bodyguard. But later on, when he moved to New York, he didn't bother with bodyguards. I've seen a picture of him standing out the Dakota building, hailing a taxi. He didn't have bodyguards later on. And when you think about it, if he had have forked out for bodyguards, maybe he'd still be alive. Tandra, I know not many people understand, but I've been to Pattaya. I like it there. Not for the you know what, but there are places you can go without that. Yeah, I believe you said, Tandra. Tandra, I know people, couples who go to Pattaya really for the live music scene. I know people who sing in bands, and what is underrated about Pattaya is that it is one of the best places in the world if you like live music, and it's such a buzz, and it's a terrific place, and it's anything goes, and it's full of fun, and whatever. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. Okay, let me see. Yeah, Paul. Yeah, Steve James says Colombia is amazing. Well, John Mitch was telling us all about Colombia the other night. Let me see. Okay. Let me see. Michael Dugan, Jim McKay. Oh, this is the first news story that he ever remembers. Jim McKay covered a 1972 Olympics reporting live on TV of the death of the hostage Israeli athletes at the airport. They're all gone. Another terrible TV moment. Yeah, I do. I was 10 years old, and I do sort of remember when that was on the news. That was a terrible. And I think I can't remember the name of the film, but the Steven Spielberg movie of that.
Was it just called Munich?
Yes, actually, I think that's one of Spielberg's best movies. That is a marvelous film. So, if you want to know all about the story of that one, the Steven Spielberg movie Munich, well worth a look. Let me see. Yeah, Robert Burnett. Yeah, Robert Burnett forgot. I was in the war. Then on two vet tours 10 years ago. People very friendly. Not sure we would be after being destroyed. Same in Laos and Cambodia. Yeah, absolutely. Robert Burnett is a Vietnam veteran, so full credit, full respect to him anyway. And nice to hear from you. Maybe Robert Burnett might want to come on one night and tell us all about that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, Mark Allen. Yes, Indiana Jones Harrison Ford movie comes out on June the 30th in the States. I'd watch that, but Harrison Ford is getting on a bit now, isn't he? I like Harrison Ford. I think he's a great star, but he's one of those people when you see him on TV interviews, he's pretty awful. He's never actually mastered the TV interview. He comes across as like a frightened schoolboy, wondering what they're going to ask him next. But yeah, that's
funny enough, there's Vietnam. He's got a little bit part in Apocalypse Now, isn't he? Where they're talking to Willard. He's got he's like in the background. He's one of the clerk type people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's right. He did play a bit part in that. Wayne Ritchie, hi Eddie and everyone. Today is my 44-year-old's birthday. Ask Sean if you know where I can get a good bar girl.
Okay, well, I would say, I mean, depends where you're going to go. Talking in Pat here, I think there's I think the Time Bar in LK Metro is a pretty good place.
Yeah.
But hey, happy birthday.
Okay, yeah, happy birthday, Wayne. Anyway, happy birthday. I think it's his son, isn't it? Let's see. Okay, where are we now? Okay. Tamra says it's good listening to Eddie and Sean's experiences. Okay, I've got a question for Sean because he's traveled a lot. We're in a moment. Eastern man, lots of Vietnamese settled. I'm gonna grab a cold drink. A moment. It's back in 1 second.
Grab a beer.
Not
okay. It's Nong Khai. Yeah, Nong Khai. That's up near Vientiane, isn't it? I was looking at there, and I went to this. I went to. There's like a national park. I'm pretty sure there's a national park, like with a big lake and stuff up that way, which I actually went to. But yeah, I mean, well, I suppose the French were in Vietnam and Laos, and I mean they used to call it Indochina, didn't they? So
yeah,
there's still probably a lot of French there.
Okay, Eastern man says lots of Vietnamese settled in Isan near the Mekong, and you can Vietnam banh mi. I love the banh mi sandwiches in Laos. It's just over the river, and they bring French baguettes over, and there is plenty of place like in Nong Khai. I do love the banh mi. Do you know something that Vietnam is one of the few countries where McDonald's actually bombed? Because in a lot of countries, as soon as McDonald's arrived, McDonald's internationally famous, the Western wonder has come here. In Vietnam, it bombed. It was a novelty at first. they opened so many branches of it. But pretty soon the Vietnamese, like, you know, thought, why pay top money for the McDonald's when our beloved banh mi is a fraction of the price and far tastier? So a lot of those McDonald's actually closed in Vietnam. It was a bit of a flop there. So good for the Vietnamese anyway. Mark Oleg, I used to have a pretty good left jab. Good for you, mate. Good for you. Good for you. Wayne Ritchie, thank you everyone for your birthday wishes. Okay. Let's see. David Coleman, alcohol-free beer makes as much sense as a lesbian using a dildo. Okay, we'll go with that one. Thank you for that input. Thank you for that input. Okay, thank you for that, David. Anyway,
Ed, I think with David, I can relate where he's coming to, because I can't understand people who drink decaf drinks as well. Same as I don't understand people who have non-alcoholic drinks.
Do you know what is the word I'm looking for? What is the word that I'm looking for? I think it's the word malanthropic. I think I'm right in saying it's that word. That's someone who gets confused with his words. He gets confused, confused with his words. I think it's malanthropic. And once I knew I had a friend who was like that, who got confused with his words. And he said to me once, he said you like your coffee, don't you? You drink a lot of coffee. I said, yeah, I drink a lot of coffee. Absolutely, I've got an addiction to it. He said, so what do you think of that decapitated coffee? I think, I think that's coffee with its head cut off, isn't it? So what do you mean? I don't know. I'm only joking. No, why has it got its head? And I think you got the word mixed up. It's decaffeinated coffee. But I've never actually, I don't think I've actually got around to trying that. That's it. I like the real coffee. Let's see. We're getting votes smutty here. Gemini Star, okay. Paul Hoskin, not like you, Scotty. Mark Oleg. Okay, David Coleman. Let's see. Richard I can just about remember the Falklands War news in the early 80s. I think it was 1982. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was about 20 years old, the Falklands War. Jesus, how many people had actually heard of how many British people knew where the Falklands were? It sounds like a Scottish island, doesn't it? I think a lot of people thought, the Argentinians have invaded the coast of Scotland. Let's see. Mark Allen, 2 words, Jane Fonda. Oh, Jane Fonda was wonderful in a day. She was wonderful. Oh, yeah, hard Tulip. Yeah. Oh, Tulip is answering your question. Not really into football for Newcastle, but I'd love to see the London teams beating Newcastle.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he's obviously not very patriotic here for Newcastle.
No. I thought people loved the team up that way. I thought it was like the thing.
I must admit, it sounds a little bit unpolitically correct, Sean, but sounds a little tinge bit unpolitical. But I one thing about the Geordies, and I've never been to that part of the country. I've never been to the northeast of England. But one thing about they'll do anything for a laugh. And when it was announced that a Arab sheikh had bought Newcastle United Football Club, and what do the Geordies do? They put tea towels on their heads, for a laugh. Didn't go down well with everyone, but I thought it was hilarious. Robert Burnett, me again. My vet counsellor was a tunnel rat. Vet counsellor was a tunnel rat in the war a whole year. I listened to him more than he with me. Anyway, I lasted a few seconds in that tunnel during a tour visit. I've done a tour visit, and I think it is on the video. And there was a guy who was there, and he was a North Vietnamese. It was actually in the war, and he still had very, very derogative things. He said someone, kind. Old bitterness dies hard. It does, but it's fascinating stuff. Fascinating stuff. Anthony Elms, much respect to Vietnam vets. Okay. Mark Allen, I spent time in Orlando, Boca Raton in Florida. Loved it. I'd love it as well. I wouldn't mind visiting that. I'd love to visit Florida. I love this guy. Yeah, we've got somebody. I don't. He speaks for itself. It speaks for itself when he comes on. Tol Verben. Eddie is not a good listener. He just switches off when others speak and starts to think about what he's going to say. That's if he's not butting in. Okay. He also didn't like the guests who phoned in, and he doesn't like this show. And Tol doesn't like this show, and he doesn't like me, and he doesn't like the guests, and he doesn't like anything. But nice to hear from you. I'm tolerant with these people. Now, some people, you notice, I'm one of the few live streams who doesn't have moderators. I don't care. I don't give a bloody damn. Yeah,
it's like I said, if they've got a problem with us or problem, that's their problem, and we don't make their problem our problem. That's the way I look at it.
Bottle Baby, best times when my taxi driver was asked in the early days of cell phones to deliver me back to the Cambodian border, Poipet crossing. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, yours travels. What's this? Falaraki Roads. Wow, what a holiday. Club 18 to 30. So I wish I'd been to Falaraki, but as an old man, I went there a few years ago. I would love to have been on those club 18 to 30, but I didn't have any money in those days, so I just couldn't do it. But I'd love to have been on them, McLaren, Steve, you're talking to yours here. Steve, I beat it. I was about 25 on an 18 to 30. Went to the distillery, then a karting track next door. Carnage. I'd love to have been on that. I missed all of that era. I really, really did. Ian Bowden says, isn't Mexico City the highest capital in the world, where a plane taking off must reach a much higher speed to take off due to its thinner air? Is Mexico City that? I thought that was La Paz in Bolivia.
Yeah, I think La Paz is, but Mexico is pretty high. I think it's like over a mile. I think it's over a mile, above sea level.
La Paz is much more than that. Much more. Than that. Yeah. I've been in La Paz, and it was really. I came out of a bar one night in La Paz in Bolivia, and there were some steps that I needed to walk up to, to get to my hotel, and I felt like I was walking the steps in slow motion, and there was somebody who'd come out the bars and was making conversation with me. I thought, Jesus, I can't speak, I can't climb these steps, let alone bloody speak, the altitude is very, very overburdened in some of those places. Let me see. Mark Allen. He's talking about Chapman. Chapman is on.
John Lennon, yeah.
For old 2024, so that will be 44 years after he committed that dreadful murder. Yeah, Mark Oligo never. Yeah. Let's see. Elvis. Yeah, August. Yeah, Elvis. Elvis died. Oh yeah, Ginger Joe. Ginger Joe for me, 1977, and I was 5, and Elvis died. Yeah, I remember that one as well. Definitely. Mark Oligo, I'll never forget that day. Yeah, I remember Elvis. Heard about Elvis dying, and also John Lennon.
Have you seen the new Elvis movie, Ed?
I've only seen the first half of it. I was on an airplane. I can't really watch movies when I'm on an airplane, but I've seen the first half of it, and hopefully I'll be able to catch up with the rest of it. It looked really, really good, but I can't really watch movies when I'm on airplanes. Is it really, really good if you watch it right the way through?
I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I go to the cinema quite a lot. I'm a big cinephile, and I absolutely. Yeah, it was really good, but it's a film. I agree with you on the small TV screens. That's the sort of film you really need to go and see at the cinema. Like I don't know, like Zulu or The Wild Bunch or any of those movies. Best seen at the cinema.
Kiki and Jasmine, Angeles City is always associated with one street here in the Philippines, but that area has the best cuisine in all of the Philippines. Really, I'd visit the Philippines again when the time is right. I will do. Yeah. King, Aloha from Hawaii was the first satellite recording in history. Over 1 billion tuned in. It must have been really, really thrilling then. Yeah, absolutely. Yogi Bear says Mark Chapman is still in jail. May he rot there. He's applied for parole 11 times. Hopefully he'll never get out. Mark Hollick, I tuned in. Actually, it was live for only a number of countries. Reboats later in the US. Okay. Let's say, okay, your travels. London Cab, Thailand. My brother and I took my mother to Thailand a few years back. She loved it. Let's see. I'm actually not answering any phone calls tonight because we're finishing pretty soon. Anyway, yours travels. Chill, you've got some mongers or guys that get stung by bar girls and don't admit it. That's the way they think. The money is pocket money for me. Okay, good for you. Good for you anyway, mate. Anyway, I've got a question for you. I've got a question. Sorry if I've missed everything. We've been on for 1.5 hours now. Anyway, and it's always nice to have guests on. Sean's come on and whatever. Yeah, this is a travel question. I asked Carl's Travel, Carl's Thailand. I asked him this question once when he was on a stream some time ago, and the question is: of all the travel that you've done, a variety, probably a fair few countries as I have, what is your greatest, or maybe one or two of them, your greatest wow moment? I mean, a moment when really took your breath away when you thought, wow, I can't believe where I am.
That's a toughie. Probably I would say my first visit to, I don't know, the Grand Canyon was pretty impressive. The Grand Canyon, for me, that was probably what my wow factor.
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard that. I've never been to the Grand Canyon. I've heard that is absolutely amazing and spectacular. Really, that's a good answer. I've had 2 wow moments, and funnily enough, the first one was actually the first night that I arrived in Saigon, because like you, I was brought up on the Vietnam War, watching it on the TV, and then I seen the films and all of that. And then it was the kind of place where never in a million years did you think you'd be able to visit. And I went to Vietnam. I booked a flight to Ho Chi Minh City, and it was a big deal. A lot of people were saying, "Oh my God, you'll get killed out there, dangerous and all that." No, not at all. I mean, and I arrived in an evening time, and and I seemed to be cool. The very, very first journey. I don't know if they've moved that airport, but the taxi from the airport to the city centre didn't seem that long. And of an evening time, I was trepidating. I thought I'll get into my hotel, get something to eat, and then just crash out and explore the town tomorrow. But as soon as I seen, the activity, all the motorbikes and the bright lights and everything, I thought, wow, it was amazing. It looked amazing. I thought, to hell with being tired. I'm going to shower and get out there. I showered. The welcome that the hotel gave me. The girl on reception, my God almighty, she was like a Miss World. Wow. She was absolutely stunning. And the welcome that I got from those people in a strange country. And then I got showered, got out in the town. I went to a couple of the bars on Fenham Glau Street, and this big Vietnamese guy was serving, and he shook me hand, poured me some nuts, and the bar was rocking with people. And I remember being in that bar in Vietnam thinking, wow, I'm in Vietnam. It was just a big wow moment for me.
Yeah.
It was a moment that I'll never, ever forget. It was an amazing moment. And the other wow moment that I had was during my big South American adventure. I started off in Rio and took buses all the way down south into deepest Argentina, and then right the way back up Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, and then back into Brazil. And when I was back into Brazil in the Amazon region, it was that moment when I boarded the boat, a proper Brazilian boat, and I was going through the Amazon for 3 days.
Wow.
And seeing that boat pulling away from Tabatinga to go through the Amazon, I was thinking, that was a real wow moment.
That is a wow moment.
moment.
And that's reminded me of a trip I did up the river when I was in Borneo in Banjarmasin and saw the old because no, I mean we'll have to tell that perhaps you could just travel stories where people could come on and we could hear all their adventures and travels, because it's inspired. I can see you're getting inspired to go again, Ed. You'll I reckon you'll be ready to go and soon.
Okay, absolutely. Okay, I'll just go through a few of these things. Someone said Eddie's 30 minutes behind the chat. Well, that was about 8 minutes ago when he mentioned that.
That's probably my fault. Sorry, guys.
No, I do it as well. So Mexico City is very, very high. That's why England struggled in the World Cup. They'll find any excuse. David Coleman says, I've never been to Thailand, but I've been to so many other countries. A man gone with a man is sick anywhere you go in the world. It's not. When he says a man gone with a man, I don't think he means a man traveling with another man. I think he means something else. Okay.
Yeah.
You're entitled to your opinion. Ian Barton says, has Sean been to Key West? If so, did you enjoy it?
Yes, I have. Ian, I have. I've been to Key West, and I've got some. I might have to get some photos of that. So basically, I did a auto driveway company. Me and an American friend, we took an '88 Camaro from Los Angeles to Haines City in Florida, which is where Roger, my American friend, lived, and his mum and dad lived in Haines City, and his uncle lived, I think it was called Summerland Key. And the thing I remember about that is we drove down, we met his uncle, we went out into the Gulf of Mexico. His uncle was a bit like, had the binoculars, was on this fishing boat. And then when we got back in the evening, his dad threw the keys to this Toyota Camry. He said, Roger, take Sean down to Key West. And we went to Key West, and well, I got some, I could go on all night, guys. So I just bore you otherwise. But so I've been to Key West, and I got some nice photos of me sat with two girls on sat either side of me, and I think it was Hooters Bar. I think it was my first Hooters Bar or something.
Bobby Crush. Eddie's big wow mom was when he had the letter W tattooed onto each pocket the bent over. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you. That's very, very
I mean, I don't know if it's the same one, and I hope that is right. But was there a pianist called Bobby Crush at one time? Was there years ago? Was there some of the guy who played the piano?
Yeah, it could be the same. I don't know if it's the same.
Perhaps it is the same one. So.
Well, it was a pianist. Yeah, let's see. Mark Alex says memory sticks were used a lot in Cuba to get news and info from outside. Cuba's a great place. Have you been to Cuba?
I haven't been to Cuba. No, I haven't really been to anywhere in the Caribbean.
Yeah. No, there's some good places, and Cuba is one of them. Yeah. I've started them off now. Why fools? Eddie had a wow moment just recently when his old chap arrived to the occasion. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Oh, yeah, King. This is clever. When you were in the Amazon, were you in your prime, Eddie? Oh, very, very good. Very, very good. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. Tandra. Thanks, Eddie, Sean, and chat. Enjoyed listening, reading your experiences. Okay, good. I think people are starting to leave us now, so I think it's time to say good night. It's been an hour and 40 minutes. I've been on anyway. Ian Barton, also midnight before I met Barb, when alone in Ho Chi Minh's in hotel. I woke to fireworks over the city on Chinese New Year. Wow. I was in, me and my best mate were in Ho Chi Minh on New Year's Eve, which is usually about February time, isn't it? And that was a wonderful New Year's Eve. Yeah, we had a great night. Remember it well. Absolutely wonderful. If you're there on the Vietnamese New Year, Tet, fantastic, absolutely wonderful. Okay, yeah. Okay, yes, that was great chat tonight, guys. Definitely have to get a UK meetup one weekend. Lots will turn up. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to Mark Alex says, also remember the Cuban Missile Crisis. from October 62. That was scary. I was only about 7 months old then. Anyway, okay. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to say good night now. Anyway,
yeah,
Sean, it's great of you to come on. Keep in touch on Facebook. We'll discuss
definitely, definitely.
Anyway, okay?
And I feel really privileged, and thanks for inviting me on, and thanks for everyone in the chat for just great. Just great. Everybody's great, aren't they? What a great bunch of people we got.
It's a great, good little environment. It's a great little team.
There is one thing, and I'm not trying to jump to the thing, but I've started doing just purely for the fact that I got my adventures right down. I've done a little YouTube channel for myself, not for like monetizing or anything like that, but just so I've done some little small videos and stuff. So
yeah.
So you know, some of the travels and stuff I've been on.
What is it called exactly?
It's just my name. It's just my name. It's just Sean Harris. And
Sean
I mean,
Harris.
with the double S. And one of them was I put Thailand experience. So I reckon if you just put that in, it would you know. And I've got other stuff on there as well. I've got like I fiddled with some like Western. I got some Western shorts on there because I've got a lot of movie memorabilia, and I took photos, and I thought, oh, I'll put them in a little. Do a little video of them, you know. So then you might find some interesting stuff. There's not very much on there, and I'm hoping to do a few more. So yeah.
Okay. Well, talk me a little bit more info about it. We'll discuss it definitely. Okay. So I'll say good night to Sean anyway, because it's great having him on here anyway. And thanks for coming on, Sean. Anyway, you've been a real star.
Thanks for having me. I really enjoyed it. And
okay.
Have a great time, everybody. Stay safe.
All right, cheers. Okay, that was Sean Harris. Anyway, he's made his second visit to this to the Steady Eddie channel. He's been a really, really great guest. So I'm going to say good night now. Anyway, we find things we can find things to do on a Tuesday night when there's nothing else happening. This is why I love the weekday streams better than anything, you know, Monday, Tuesday, because what else is going on? There's not really a great deal else going on. So may as well tune in here. And Sean's been a great guest. Hopefully we'll get some other guests on pretty soon. And anyway, guys, thanks for coming on tonight. Apologies if I've missed out on anybody's comments, but obviously, you know, it's a bit more demanding when you have guests on. But a big thanks to everyone for your input and everything. I'll be back on Friday. What we'll do on Friday night, we'll do some, you know, current affairs, politics, that sort of things, because this is not just a travel channel. But I'll say good night. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll have a great week, and I'll see you on Friday at 9 p.m. Okay, UK time. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. Cheers.